everyone, Jacques here, the Inspired Piper. Welcome to episode 3. In this episode, I want to talk about something serious here, something that, some afflictions that most of us need to contend with. So let's start with P.A.D. Of course, that's pipe acquisition disorder, which is essentially there's never enough pipes. I know my wife looked at my cabinet recently and I have a little over a dozen pipes now. And she says, "Don't you have enough?" And I looked at her like, well, no, there's no such thing as ever enough pipes. For some reason, it's just fun to collect them. And what I love is that every one of them has a story. They remind you of somewhere you've been or, just an occasion. So for example, I get to travel for business, which I think is pretty cool. And so last spring in 2018, I happened to be in Greenville, South Carolina. So I pinged some of the folks on the pipe groups on Facebook and they said, well, Boda pipes and cigars. And so I ended up getting this beautiful Savinelli Bink's Favorite, which I love, beautiful pipe. Later that year, I was in New York City. So yeah, I had to go check out Nat Sherman. I know some people are saying it's just a shadow of its former self, but I mean, I've never known the former self. So kind of a cool store, and ended up with this Peterson harp, which I love. And the experience of this one, it was kind of cool because I've noticed that as you go into these stores, when you go into brick and mortar stores and to get a pipe, like you don't choose the pipe. It chooses you. Like there was a wall of pipes here. And this one was there and I spotted it and I looked at it and I put it back. There was also a Savinelli 320, which so many people seem to love. And I was holding it in my hand. I said, okay, I gotta, so many people love this. I should get this. But, in this wall of pipe, this one kept going like, no, me. And so that's what I walked out with. So yeah, you don't choose the pipe. It chooses you, I think. And then later that year, I was going to Boston. So again, I reached out on the Facebook groups and a few people said, oh, lucky you get to go to L.J. P.A.D. And sure enough, that was an awesome visit. Love that store. If ever you're in Boston, you got to go there. I think I spent about 2 hours in there talking to the guys. Now, one of the cool stories is the current owners bought it from the P.A.D. family about 20 years ago, they explained. And in the basement, they found boxes and boxes and boxes full of unfinished pipes that had been ordered. This is unfinished pipe and briar that had been ordered from St. Claude, France back in the 20s and 30s. So this gentleman there, Tim, took it upon himself to take these pipes, unfinished pipes, and finish them. So this is one of them. So this briar here is about 80, 90 years old. Cool story. And then, of course, there's Bladder in Montreal, which is where I'm originally from. I live in Western Canada now, but every time I go back to Montreal, I try to drop by Bladder. Fourth generation pipe makers, beautiful stuff. Pierre and I think it's Richard Bladder now. Every time I go in, I'm chatting with Pierre Bladder. I went in there saying, okay, I'm going to get one of their pipes because I love their pipes. I have a few of them. And I ended up with this beautiful little squat scoop here, beautiful finish. And it just felt great in my hands. And as I'm going, like, I'm pretty much sold on it, and then in it, I'm not even seeing what he's doing. He kind of slips this one in my hand and he goes, yeah, that's a pretty nice one too. And I'm like, oh, this feels good. Oh, I like this. And it's so light and it feels good. But now I don't know now. And yeah, as you can see, I ended up walking out with both. Damn bastard. Hate those guys. I'm just kidding. I love those guys. If you're ever in Montreal, you owe it to yourself. Drop by Bladder. Beautiful pipes. So yeah, there's this whole thing of collecting pipes. And I love when I pick a pipe and, oh yeah, I remember where I was and why I was there and the occasion and all that. And so that's kind of fun. But then on the other hand, there's also T.A.D, tobacco acquisition disorder. So of course you got to put something in those pipes. So then you start buying tobaccos, and with the plethora of online resellers today, you can order all sorts of blends. So one gentleman from Denmark convinced me to try Orlik Golden Sliced. Sure enough, I'm making sure now that I've always got some on hand because I love it. I love the smell. I love the taste of it. Another one of my favorites is Presbyterian Mixture. Every time this one comes up on the Facebook groups, I'm like, yeah, I need some of those. And I'll have a bowl. Someone recently on one of the Facebook groups mentioned this one, Solani 633 blend. And sure enough, love it. Has a beautiful sort of honey aroma with the grassy smell of Virginias. So I find myself leaning more and more towards Virginias and Vapors, Virginia Periques. But I also still enjoy aromatics. So, on top of buying tins, you start buying bulk and, well, cellaring it. And it's something that I learned only about 2 years ago. And it's like, wow, you can buy stuff and it keeps. Not only does it keep, but it gets better with age. So it's like a good wine. So, I've got a bunch of Hobbit's Weed and a bunch of Boswell Northwoods. And so I like to cellar that and, have a good stock. And the cellar, the Northwoods is one example of another pipe story where one of the guys on one of the Facebook groups reached out to me and says, hey, I love Northwoods. Would you mind bartering some of it for a pipe? And I ended up with this Boswell pipe. Now, this is kind of an odd shape for me, not something I'm used to, but I do enjoy it. I love holding it, and I love the size of the bowl, and I love the way it smokes. So all these pipes have stories. All these tobaccos have stories. Now, Mutton Chop Piper did a video a couple of years ago where he kind of talks about this dilemma. Are you more a pipe person? Are you more the tobacco person? I haven't made up my mind. I will go to my pipe cabinet when I feel like a smoke, and I will look at it, and some days it's, well, I want to smoke my little squat scoop here from Bladder, and what am I going to put in it? Then I'll put some, whatever, some Orlik Golden Slice. Other days I'll go in and I go, I feel like some Presbyterian mixture, and then what pipe am I going to put that in? And so I can't say I'm more of a pipe guy, more of a tobacco guy. I just like to mix and match. To me, it's part of the enjoyment of the whole process. Pick a pipe, pick a blend, or, pick a blend and pick the pipe for it. And then it goes beyond that, of course. It's like, what am I going to pair it with? I always like to have something to drink when I'm smoking a pipe. So it could be just as simple as water, but for example, the Orlik Golden Slice, to me, screams coffee. Like, if I'm having that, I totally enjoy a nice, good cup of coffee with that. And some days it's the other way around. I want to make myself a cup of coffee, and I go, some Orlik Golden Slice would be nice with this, right? And so, some of the blends go good with a nice, or go well with a nice Scotch or bourbon. Hobbit's Weed surprised me at one point. I'm more of a, whiskey type kind of guy, whiskeys, bourbons, Scotches. But one night I had some nice golden rum from Guyana, and I had it with Hobbit's Weed, and I was like, oh, that was really nice. So there's all these things that to contend with, the pipes, the tobaccos, the pairing of the drink. There's so much. It's for me, such a beautiful part of this pipe smoking world. The other thing I've noticed that people do is they keep specific pipes for specific blends. I certainly have not gone that far, but what I found, and I'm not sure why, I can't explain it, the tendency that I've adopted is there's some pipes that are more dedicated to aromatics and some to non-aromatics. So, for example, my Peterson here, or my 7LE Bing's Favorite, for some reason, I usually use them for aromatics. Whereas my Bladder pipes and some others that I have, I tend to smoke non-aromatics in there. Not sure why. I'm not convinced it makes a huge difference, although some would say that it does if you smoke aromatics, and then in English you'll still get the, the smell and taste of the aromatics. But anyways, that's the way I've gone. So yeah, stuff we have to deal with. But it's such an enjoyable hobby and way to relax and think about things. Just have a nice pipe and enjoy. So what do you guys do? Are you more pipe? Are you more tobacco? You don't really care. You're kind of on the fence like me. It goes one way one day and the other way the other day. Would love to hear your thoughts and your comments on that. Like the video if you enjoy this, and subscribe. I've got some more videos lined up. My next one, I hope, is going to be an interview with someone who takes estate pipes and restores them and sells them online. And I've actually bought 2 from him and love them. So trying to line that up and have that ready for you guys soon. All right, thanks. Happy smokes, happy thoughts. Bye, everyone.